Kia ora and welcome back to episode 9 of the True Sarcasm podcast.
Wow, 9 weeks of this rambling madness.
Madness. And I actually got a notification this morning to say that we've had 100 listens.
What?
So, thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for listening wherever you're listening to us from. You're obviously, don't have a lot.
A lot of other things to listen to.
I was going to say a lot of taste.
Oh.
So today we're going to be discussing parent-teacher interviews.
Okay.
Now, you used to be a teacher in your former life.
In my former life, I did, yes.
Before you became a, what do you call it? Like
a rich and famous entrepreneur.
Yeah, and running a clothing empire. Before that, you were just a poorly paid teacher, weren't you?
Correct, I was.
So you know what it's like when parent-teacher interviews come around. Actually, can I ask you, parent-teacher interviews, right? You go, oh, God, I've got to sit with all the parents. Was it torture? Was it horrible? Did you hate it?
The thing that I didn't like is the fact that it's a really long week because you've got to see everyone, you've got to accommodate to everyone. And I understand lots of parents, working parents. So you really have to, wait around after school. And sometimes they're pretty back to back. And also, you're expected to punch them out. Like, you're not given, as a teacher, a lot of time. So you're not given, like, okay, in the next 3 weeks, conduct these interviews. You're like, in the next 3 days, conduct these interviews.
So they haven't actually pre-thought about it. They're just like...
They always do, but they go, okay, cool, we're giving parents a really short window, so they have to book in, right? Because if you give them 3 weeks, then they're probably not going to book in.
Okay.
But then there's no-shows, and then there's parents who want to talk to you for an hour, and you've only allocated, half an hour or whatever you've allocated. And some of them are just like, cool, awesome. And then they started doing the group ones where you'd do a group. So you'd bring in 5 parents at a time. You'd get the kids to set out like something that they were really proud of that they'd done.
Right.
And then you'd get the kids to kind of lead it. So you would do a wee intro. The kids would take their parents over to look at their books and show them their really cool piece of art or writing or whatever they were proud of. And then you would talk to the individual families whilst the other kids were talking to their parents. So the group ones worked well. I liked them. And then you could have an hour and you would actually get to talk to people. But it's quite hard to juggle.
Be. And you've got to be on too. It's like, hi, how are you? Great.
And you have to, parents come up to you. You've got 5 different groups of parents, 5 different kids. And they're like, oh, what's my child's reading level?
Yeah.
You have to know that.
And
you have to pull that out.
Yeah, but even when you're doing one-on-ones, you sort of kind of have to know how they're going. I mean, we're talking primary level, right? Because you're kind of doing everything.
Yeah.
So you kind of have to know reading levels, maths. They're dropping a bit behind in fractions.
But if it's one-on-one, like you can go, okay, cool, and you bring up that kid's stuff.
Yeah. But in a group setting,
it's a group setting because you're like, I have to remember all 5 of these, which, I mean, you do just remember because you do, and you know it like the back of your hand. But sometimes it's like, whoa.
Well, what about high schools, right? This is why this all sort of came up. Ruby, my favourite daughter, is 14. She goes to a high school here in Christchurch, right? She's year 10, which if you're playing old school like me, that's form, what would that be? Form 4?
Yeah, fourth form.
So your 4th form, or your year 10 in the modern way. And it's always at the beginning of the year, which I find strange because the teachers don't really know the kids. I think I didn't go. I would think it was a couple of weeks ago. And they put out a request for parent-teacher interviews, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I might make the effort because, I might go along and meet some of these teachers because Ruby's having some good experiences and some not so good experiences with some of the teachers. And a lot of that's to do with her. I would never want to teach 14-year-old girls, even if you paid me, we make squillions of dollars here at our clothing empire. But if you paid me squillions of dollars, I still wouldn't do it. I would not do it.
Yeah, I think teenage girls are the worst.
They are the worst.
And in a group, like, you've got no hope.
Teenage boys, I mean, there's another conversation. What's worse? I mean, teenage boy just grunts and just stays in his room, but Ruby's a bit of a grunter.
Yeah, they don't really say much, do they?
That's a whole nother podcast. But they sent out this request, like, would love to do parent-teacher interviews.
Yeah.
5-minute slots.
What do you...
5 minutes.
Yeah, see, that's quite...
You said half an hour before, like, we'll get to know them. Oh, how are you, Mr. Who Gives a Shit? Hi, how are you? How's my kid? Oh, really good. What do you do, Luke? And, that old school idea. I mean, I've come from small towns.
Yeah,
Did I get
there's
any?
no time to know you in a 5-minute interview. It's like that's like speed dating.
It is. Did I go to any of your high school? I can't remember. I don't think I
High
did.
school, no,
Maybe Alice went.
no, none of you did. I
Oh,
don't think.
yes.
I mean, we we lived in Australia though, and the high
Yeah.
schooling system there is
It's quite different.
it's quite different. And
At least I've been consistent and I'm not showing up to Ruby's or yours.
yeah.
Now, does that make me a bad parent? If you're a teacher, do you look at that and go, "Oh, Mr. Spittle didn't show up to talk about Ruby"?
Doesn't care about his daughter's
Yeah,
education.
is that what you think? Do you have a wee gossip? We have a Nest cafe in the teacher kitchen.
See, from my primary perspective, I would get really annoyed if kids who had high behavioural needs and were causing disruptions, or children who were really falling behind and needed extra help. I would be annoyed if those parents didn't show up. If your kid's doing great, and the kids who were, getting excelling
Yeah.
and getting extra stuff, I would really want to talk to those parents in person about what we're doing to extend or help. And I would get annoyed if they didn't show up.
Isn't that interesting though? Because as a teacher, you're okay with the ones that are just that's what you were like.
Yeah, just
you were just
bobbling in the
cruising
middle.
along. You weren't annoying. You weren't behind, but you weren't exceeding. And you're like, oh Jesus, that's great, Taylor. Just leave her alone. Which means you don't get pushed to excel. It's interesting. It's an interesting concept. But I found it really strange because 5 minutes, like you said about speed dating.
Yeah, 5-minute slots.
By the time I get in there and I ramble on a bit, I'd be like, oh hey mate, how are you? And great, yeah. I'd be like, do they just sit you down? Ruby's got a 5G thing, and I'd be like, what does the 5G 3X mean? Because all this terminology they use in their grades now, I've no freaking idea what they're talking about. Oh, she's a 2.5G above the 136, so that's really good. So then I have to decipher what the hell they're talking about. That's going to take me more than 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then do they go, bing, thank you, off you go, next one.
Well, yeah, because if they're booking in 5-minute slots, another parent's booked in afterwards.
Breathing down your neck in the hallway and go,
Yeah,
sorry,
get out.
Gerald, he wants to come in and talk to me about his kid. Anyway,
maybe it's really structured. Maybe they sit down and they're like, in math, your child's here. This means that. Bye.
All right, maybe you should go to one next year.
Maybe they're just really... I mean, maybe with NCA. But I would only really go if she was falling behind.
There you go. Great advice. Thank you. Yeah, what do? Do you actually go to your parent-teacher interviews? I'm talking high school here. Primary, yes, I make the effort to go along because they're a lot nicer. They seem to have more time and they seem to give more shits. I don't know. Whereas high school, it just feels like you said, speed dating. It's slightly annoying. And I don't want to be there. They don't want to be there. So how about we just don't go? That's my solution.
And also, you'd have to drive, you have to drive more than 5 minutes to get there.
Yeah.
To spend 5 minutes there.
I know. And it wasn't like they've got 3 or 4 lined up in a row.
Right, so you have to wait around in between.
Anyway.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Rant is done. You can check out the website, choosesarcasm.co.nz. Help us with our empire.
Our $1 squillion empire, and we'll print it right here in this garage.
Woohoo!
Bye.
Bye-bye.